Pleasant good morning to everyone. I'm Jenny. I'm from Maths Department in St. Ignatius College of Education. So today we say about supervised study. So first let's see the introduction. So in most of the teaching methods are given by naturalistic philosophy. So this method, the supervised study, that is evolved by nature and it is a student-centered study. So this method provide opportunity for students to remain active in the teaching learning process. So there are many methods. So supervised study is the best one. So now let's see what is supervised study. So supervised study means a shift from mass teaching to individual. So in this method, the teacher gives certain amount of work to the students. So the students get busy in their work and the teacher guides the student and their work when required. So in this method, every child is provided with an opportunity to do his respective task and study. So this is a supervised study. Now let's see what is the need for supervised study. So supervised study allows students to study in the classroom under the direction of teacher. So group supervised study section given by the teacher is an opportunity to foster good study habit, to deal with study problems and related to students as individual. So and it also demands the ban of homework on the students. So these are the needs of supervised study. So now let's see what are the steps in the supervised study. So there are 4 steps. The first is introduction for the study, and the second is instruction for the study, and the third is supervised by the teacher, and the fourth is development of blackboard study. These are the steps in the supervised study. Now let's see what are the requirements of the supervised study. So there are 5 requirements. The first is a big hall, and the second is a comfortable teaching arrangements, and the third is study materials. What are the kinds of materials that we need? So this is a STEM. So this is important. And the fourth is assignments, and fifth is a self-evaluation chart. So these are the methods to improve the students day by day, and they can improve their way better. So now let's see what are the characteristics of supervised study. So the first is to provide the freedom to students to learn independently. The next is to facilitate to the individual difference of the students. The third is to develop reading skills and study habits. And the fourth is to provide remediation for learning difficulties. And the fifth is to facilitate the process of assimilation. So therefore, the students to understand the content according to their own. And the last is to make students more active, because this is a student-centered teaching device. So these are the characteristics of supervised study. Now let's see the skills developed by supervised study. What are the skills that are developed by supervised study? The first skill is how to read study materials, and the second skill is to how to use encyclopedias, and skills as to how to use dictionaries, how to use maps, atlas, index and almanacs, and skills as how to develop reading graph. These are the skills that developed by supervised study. Now let's see what are the forms of supervised study. So there are the first plan is the conference plan. So conference plan is simply, under this plan the teacher remains in the school each day for a period after the classwork is over, in order that those people who are telling behind in their lesson may receive individual attention, so that the conference plan is more effective for all the students in the class. So next is this special teacher. So under the system, one teacher can devote his entire time for coaching. So that is supervising the pupils individually or in a small group. So people needing assistance are those who are using unsatisfactory work or required to meet the special teacher at stated hour. And the third is the library study plan. So the students may go to the library during the special period and work their own assignments under the supervision of the teacher. And the next is the divided period plan. So here the teacher divides the class period time between usual class regression and supervised study. So the next is the double period plan. So this is very similar to the divided period plan. So here we have two period. For divided period plan we have 1 hour, we can divide the period. For double period plan we have 2 hour, we can divide the period for first hour for class regression and the second hour for supervised study. And the next is the daily extra period plan. So one period at the end of every school day is set apart particularly for those people who are weak in studies. So this comes under the remedial class. So this is a main thing for those who are weak in their studies. And the next is the assembly hall study period plan. So when people assemble in the big hall during a vacant period and study under the supervision of the teacher or librarian, this is the assembly hall study period plan. These are the forms of supervised study. Now let's see what are the advantages of supervised study. So the first is every child gets opportunity to learn according to his abilities and capabilities. So next is immediate teacher pupil relationship impossible by this method. And the next is it helps to develop reading habit. It develops self confidence and discipline. It develops cooperation among students, and it simplifies home study tasks, and it reduces the failure. It develops habit of regularity in work. It is based on the principle of activity and individual differences. So from this, both the teacher and the child remains active throughout the study. So what are the limitation of supervised study? So these are the limitations. The first is it is not suitable for brilliant students. So they are expert in everything. So this is not suitable for brilliant students. And the next is it is expensive because it requires good library, good laboratory, good teacher. So this supervised study is very expensive. And the next is to destroy the supremacy of teachers. And the next is the method requires additional teachers. So because everyone have to get it under the teacher, so we have require additional teachers. And the last is lengthened school day is not possible because lengthening is the school period is like an difficult for both the students and teachers. So lengthening school day is not possible. And finally we conclude this topic. So supervised study means a shift from mass teaching to individual. So it helps to develop a reading habit. It develops the self confidence and discipline of the student. So it develops cooperation among the students and teacher throughout the teaching learning process. So thank you for this for your wonderful time that you spent to listen to this. Thank you.